Hello, good evening, and welcome to Veterans Field in Coldwater. We're tonight on WOSN. We've got a great non-league matchup for you between the 7th-ranked team in Division III, the Wapakoneta Redskins, and the 3rd-ranked team in Division V, the Coldwater Cavaliers. I'm Garrett Seawright, joined alongside Chad Spencer, and we'll bring you all the action tonight here from Coldwater. And Chad, two of the finer programs in the area are going to tango here tonight in the final week of the regular season.
Yeah, what a great matchup that we get to see here between two quality programs, not just this year, Garrett, but year in and year out, and a chance to play on a less than perfect spring evening, but not cold.
No, it's one of those rare mid-May rain showers, but it's not going to soak you to the bone and wonder when you're ever going to get warm again type of rain showers. But it is a pretty steady rain here, but there's no lightning. It's warm enough to swing the bats. So we're going to play a little baseball here as the Coldwater Cavaliers will put their 19-1 record on the line. 7-0 in the Midwest Athletic Conference. Meanwhile, Wapak 12-3 on the season, 6-2 in the Western Buckeye League. And the Coldwater Cavaliers going to send potentially their best pitcher to the mound tonight. Owen Kunk will get to start on senior day here for the Coldwater Cavaliers, and he'll take on the hot pitcher and spectacular baseball player for Wapak, Grant Jolly, right at the top of the lineup. We'll run down both sides lineups here momentarily as Kunk tries to find a little bit of footing and clean his cleats on the heel of the rubber there. But we're going to get underway as Grant Jolly, the shortstop for Wapak, will step into the box for the first pitch of tonight's non-league matchup. Pitch just off the plate outside. As might go through a couple dozen or so baseballs here this evening on the very first pitch. I imagine that the message to the catchers is make sure you squeeze that thing tonight.
Make sure you got a kid in the dugout with 2 towels.
Kunk, the 1-0. Missed outside on that one as well. Around the horn for Coldwater. Bennett Spriggs is catching tonight for the Cavaliers. Mason Welsh down at first. Aaron Kaups at second base. Miles Potcutter is at third. And Balin Blockberger is at shortstop on the infield. Run down the outfield after the 2-0 pitch from Kunk. That one's in for a strike. Finds the zone on the third pitch of the afternoon. The outfield from left to right for the Cavaliers, Mason Smith, Brady Layfeld, and Cody Depweg is in right for Coldwater, wearing their white home uniforms today. The 2-1, chopper back to Aaron Kaup. A high hop, he'll make the throw over to first in the dirt, and Jolly will reach.
What looked like to be a routine play ended up being a very adventurous play, didn't it, Garrett? That ball seemed to hit the lip and just bounce up in the air.
And Kaup had to climb the ladder. It's really an effort to even get that in his glove. And lucky it didn't roll into the outfield. Got to climb the ladder to get it, and then don't have a lot of time to make the throw, plus a wet baseball. Leads to the error, and Grant Jolly has 13 stolen bases on the year. And Kunk will take a look at him before coming plateward to Drew Bailey. That one up and in. Bailey playing third base today, wearing number 8. 341 hitter. Has a little bit of pop in that bat. 2 home runs, 18 RBIs on a season. Kunk checks the runner.
What's also impressive is that Drew's averaging about a walk per game, so obviously he's got a pretty good eye at the plate.
Absolutely. 16 base on balls this year for Drew Bailey. The 2-0 from Kunk. He'll shake off Spriggs. Get the pitch he'd like. That one in for a strike, right down the heart of the plate. It's the second consecutive batter we've seen Kunk fall behind 2-0 and then come back with a fastball.
A lot of fastballs early here.
That's kept Jolly pretty close to the bag. He'll dive back in safely on the first throw attempt over on the pickoff from Kunk.
You're just trying to keep the ball out of the grass now, Garrett.
There's a high fly ball to left field. Mason Smith ranging towards the line. He'll make the glove as Bailey retired on the F7. Griffin Miracle, the catcher, steps in now for the Wapak Redskins. Mason Ludwig, the DH stands in the on-deck circle now. As Griffin Miracle brings a left hand back to the plate for the Redskins. And there goes Jolly on the first pitch. A breaking ball in for a strike, and Spriggs wasn't able to corral the wet baseball quickly and give another stolen base to Grant Jolly.
Hard time getting the transfer there. Ball popped right out of his hand. It's already a challenge with the breaking pitch, and then second of all, it's wet baseball.
Right, it's breaking ball, it's a wet baseball. Jolly's got some speed to him. That's not a recipe for throw him out, as there's another pitch in for a strike, as Kunk's been able to locate that fastball a little bit better here after getting a better grip on that baseball.
Well, you're looking for at least a ground ball to the right side to try to move Grant to at least to third.
The 0-2. That one in the dirt. Spriggs makes the stop, and we'll get a new baseball. Wisely throws it into the dugout to say, and this one's going to need a little bit more of attention.
Well, you know, Bennett Spriggs knows what he's doing back there to be a sophomore in a senior-laden team starting.
At an important position like catcher. Kunk, the 1-2. Another breaking ball, and he K's Griffin Miracle on the swinging strikeout. And that's a big out there for Owen Kunk to corral.
It's a huge out, isn't it? We'll get up into the DH spot here and see what Mason Ludwig can do.
Ludwig, a .278 hitter on the year.
Now batting designated hitter number 21, Mason Ludwig.
Jolly stands at second. Takes another step towards third. Kunk will come plateward. That pitch up and out of the zone.
Tried to start him with a breaking ball and didn't quite get it to bend.
Ludwig didn't look like he was afraid to wear it if it happened to be just a
Wasn't
little bit
moving,
higher.
was he?
That pitch stung down to the third baseline. And a strong throw from Miles Potcutter to Mason Welsh will retire the side. Redskins get a runner aboard. Aren't able to bring him in. We'll go to the bottom of the first here on WOSN. Strikeouts tonight brought to you by Cook & Son Plumbing and Heating, specializing in old-time service since 1978. Find them on Facebook or call 419-738-8956. Redskins tally one strikeout of their own in the top half of the first. Would like to get some more Cook & Son Plumbing and Heating strikeouts of the Cavaliers here in the bottom of the first. But Coldwater, Chad, the top team in the MAC in hits, runs, RBIs, triples, stolen bases, batting average. That is a potent offense coming to the plate here for Coldwater.
They are definitely prominent in the league standings, and hence their ranking in the state. What a spot for Darren Hauser to learn how to pitch varsity baseball, huh?
Yeah, it's the third start of the season for Darren Hauser. Has not put in a lot of work on the mound this season for the Wapak Redskins, but they've got quite the busy schedule this week, so all arms on deck.
Yes, sir.
And Darren Hauser's going to take on a potent offense here as Brady Layfeld, the center fielder, will step to the plate.
You know, what a great opportunity, though, for the young man if he can come out tonight and have a strong performance.
Great confidence builder. As the first pitch to Layfeld is in for a strike on the outer half of the plate there. The 0-1. That one out of the zone. Layfeld, a .314 hitter, playing center field today for the Cavaliers. He's drawn 20 walks this season, so that's quite the number when when you're in game 21. And there's one. Stung high into the outfield, ranging over from his center field position is Jarrett Mullen for the catch. And Layfeld is retired.
You know, Layfeld scoring, 24 runs so far. You know, if you're playing varsity baseball and scoring a run every night, you're having a good season.
Yeah, you look at that leadoff hitter hitting .314 on base, near 400. You're going to score a lot of runs when you got some guys behind you like Aaron Kaup, who's taking his first cuts of the season here, this senior. Stings one down the third baseline. It's corralled by Drew Bailey. And the first at-bat for Aaron Kaup ends after just one pitch on the 5-3 putout.
Aaron, you got to give Mom a little time to get some pictures.
Right. She's taking the camera out. No, that's a well hit ball down that third base side. And that'll bring up Mason Welsh. A lot of pop in the bat for the first baseman. 25 RBIs on the season, hitting .464.
All those stats that you just read of Coldwater leading the league, just ditto that for Mason Welsh.
That is very true. As the first pitch in from Hauser, just a little bit low. This is not a batter that the Wapak Redskins want to get behind in the county, and I can't imagine.
Hauser throwing him the deuce on pitch one.
There's a hit back up the middle, and Welsh will reach on the base hit.
You know, Mason did a really good job of just keeping his hands in on that and just flicking it up to the right side, just to the right of second base. Well struck ball.
That'll bring up Balin Blockberger. Welsh, in addition to having some pop in the bat, can also swipe a bag or two. 15 stolen bases on the year, so something that Hauser will keep an eye on over at first base as Balin Blockberger steps to the plate.
First inning base hit's going to help Mason keep that average around that 460 mark, which is amazing through 21 games when you think about it.
That pitch just off the plate. Also, Coldwater not playing a schedule of Little Sisters of the Poor either.
No, sir.
There are some very good baseball teams on the Cavaliers schedule. As Hauser will check the runner at first. Wells with a pretty decent lead. As that pitch back to center field, Mullen running in, makes the catch on the run, and that will do it for the bottom half of the first inning. We're scoreless after one. More baseball action for you coming up here on WOSN. Tonight's second inning brought to you by Burke Petroleum. They're now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, and industrial users. Burke Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097. Here in the top half of the second. Still scoreless. Playing in the rain here at Coldwater. As Owen Kunk allowed just one base runner on the top of the first. There's one base runner right there after the swing from Joel Miller. And he'll put one in the gap. It'll be just a base hit, but Miller improves his average, hitting .275 coming into today's matchup.
Joel, one of 7 seniors in this Wapak lineup. Or 6, I'm sorry. I think I counted wrong. 7 seniors on the squad.
Darren Hauser.
Looking at a very veteran Coldwater lineup and a Wapak lineup that's boasting one starting senior.
There's a bender in for a strike on the first pitch to Hauser, a .286 hitter.
Darren doing double duty tonight.
Yes, his
pitcher's plate and home plate.
Ethan Brandt playing second base, but not in the batting order for Wapak, as the die for Miller back in time. Joel Moore, I beg your pardon. There's another bender.
With it.
Just a little up.
It's always interesting to watch where kids get their lead, and neither of the Wapak runners so far had near the lead that Mason Welsh did.
Yeah, you're absolutely
He had an
correct.
extra half step or so.
The 1-1. That one just inside.
Joel doesn't look like he's intent on stealing from the lead that we're looking at.
Not as many stolen bases from Wapak throughout the season as Coldwater has.
It's a pretty good move.
I was going to say nearly picked off Joel Moore with the move to first from Kunk.
Kunk showed really quick feet.
Kunk looking in, taking a long look into the catcher. The 2-1. That one
that'll
uncorked.
get him down there.
And Moore will trot down to second base, round it just to make sure.
Via the old wild pitch. Now, if you're in this situation, Garrett, do you try to bunt him to third with no outs so you have a guy in scoring position?
I forget who.
More scoring position?
I forget who maybe was it Mississippi State's baseball coach at one point said, if I had runners on first and second, nobody out, I'd have Babe Ruth bunt.
Right. I think that's a Ron Polk quote, if I remember right.
And you know what? I think you make the defense handle the ball as often as you can.
Especially with a wet carpet.
There's one skied. Will it stay in play? Ranging towards
now we're 2 strikes, so it's probably a moot point.
But yeah, looking for some contact here. But I don't know what the percentage, how the scoring percentage goes up on if you've got a runner at third base with 1 out. But I would imagine it's pretty high.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget how he got to second.
True.
Anything you can do in high school baseball to put pressure on a defense, and then when you get some inclement weather, that only magnifies that.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Look how
Hauser waits the 3-2. That one just out, almost in the dirt.
Well, now you're back in that same situation where if you bunt them up, you get 2 guys in scoring position.
Absolutely.
You have sophomore to plate and Blake Rogers, who's only had 6 at-bats all year.
But he is hitting 500
He's
in those
hitting
6
500, yeah, that's probably why he's in here tonight.
Get some cuts in. But multiple runners on the pond for the first time today.
I think he'll be bunting.
As Kunk shakes off the catcher. And took a stab at it.
Chased one over his head.
Oh, they'll say foul ball.
He's got to pull back on that, Garrett. Especially after a walk.
Got a bunt strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So the 0-1.
Let's see if Coach Brandt has it on again. I would imagine so. A veteran pitcher like Kunk, don't be surprised if you see a curveball here.
Yep. See if he and Spriggs are on the same page. He liked the original call from the sophomore catcher. They'll run the wheel.
Play with the pickoff.
Yep.
They got
I was
him.
just about to ask you, Chad, if the wheel's on. And Moore's going to get in anyway. Moore dives in safely.
You have to get that ball on ahead of the runner and running back to the base that you came from. You can't have a tag play at that base and let him get by you. What a break for Wapak, huh?
So now runners at second and third. And now you don't have to bunt them over to second and third. You get them there.
Yeah, Coldwater suckered them right into that.
I was going to
pickoff on the back end of the wheel.
The Cavaliers love them the wheel, and
they ran it well.
It was on.
Just didn't execute the end of the play.
So now Moore and Hauser at second and third. Swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch from Kunk. Gets another valuable strike against Blake Rogers.
We knew a curveball was coming. We just didn't know when.
Rogers playing in right field, looking for his third or fourth RBIs of the season. And Kunk blew one by him for the Cook and Son plumbing and heating strikeout.
Big first out. Now he's dealing with the 8 and 9 man in the lineup and see if he can wiggle out of this.
Zach Fisher comes to the plate now. Fisher in left field.
You know, Fisher's 342 in that 8 spot. Pretty impressive average with 16 runs. He has a huge hole between first and second if he can shoot a ball. Well, they're switching the defense now. They're switching hold.
And he'll put the bunt on. Got it down. And Moore has to retreat to third. There's no play at first, so it'll be bases chucked for the Redskins on a great bunt by Fisher.
Well done. And Kunk was probably really wise just to eat that ball. It looked like the contact sacrifice play, and Moore takes it back to third base and doesn't give up the out. Pretty good base running, actually, because he's right beside the third baseman.
You're absolutely correct. That's 2 kind of heads-up base running plays there by Moore.
A lot of kids, once they see they're on the ground, they think they're committed.
Got to go.
He realizes there's nobody covering third and there's no play at first.
Didn't run himself into an out. And now the number 9 hitter, Jarrett Mullen, watches a strike on the first pitch from Kunk. Mullen, exactly 300 hitter. Has 1 home run, 5 RBIs on the season for the Redskins.
I like the way Coach Brandt's positioned him in the lineup. Obviously, speed with 14 steals and kind of like an extra leadoff man.
Mullen tried to wear that breaking ball.
He tried to get taller, didn't he?
He was where his elbow started at the start of the at-bat and start of the pitch and where it ended up.
Coldwater playing the middle back, trying to get an inning double play.
That pitch out of the zone.
You got Timmy Sherman behind the plate showing some great agility getting out of the way of that potential play.
Tim Sherman and Chris Roop are umpires here this evening. As Spriggs will run a baseball back out to Kunk, and Kunk will tell him what he likes here in the 2-1. One down here in the top of the second inning on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Still goose eggs for both sides, but the Redskins would love to change that here.
It's a great opportunity for Wapak.
Bases loaded and one down.
You know, Coach Brandt would like to get one in here and then roll it up to the top of the lineup with all these guys on base.
Gunk will come set. Mullen, swing and a miss. A hardy cut from the center fielder.
In any event, if they can afford a double play, you're going to have Grant Jolly up with several guys on base.
Yeah.
Sure, Kunk would take a big strike out here.
He nods in agreement with his catcher. Checks the runners. That one back up the middle, looking for that tailor-made double play. Mullen will beat it down the line, and a run will score for the Redskins.
Big RBI for Jarrett Mullen. Denning the plate for our first run of the game.
So Fisher's retired.
Fisher's out 6-4, and we've got Jarrett Mullen on first base with the fielder's choice.
And as Chad mentioned, the rolls the order back over to Grant Jolly, the 568 hitter.
Stop number 2, Grant Jolly.
What do you think, Garrett? If you're the coach, you take a kid hitting 568.
I think
16 games into the year.
I think I would find someplace in the lineup for that.
Yeah.
Might have got him over at first. Didn't get the tag on just in time as Mullen tripped a little bit, diving back to the bag on another quick move there by Kunk.
We're going to see a bag of Diamond Dry dedicated to that pit.
We are going to go through the Diamond Dry here tonight. I'm almost certain of that. Is Kunk. That one shot over the hit and run.
The second baseman.
But right at Kalp. He'll hang tough. Throw not in time. And Mullen will go first to third on the infield hit as another run comes to score.
Second time Grant Jolly reaches on an E4.
And make it 2-0 on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard as Mullen showing the wheels.
Unfortunately for Aaron, he kicked that ball a little bit and then couldn't get a clean handle picking it up, and by then Jolly was there.
It is not a great day to be playing on the infield.
You'd expect Jolly to take off here pretty quick too, I would think. Try to get out of the forced play. Not a huge lead, though.
That pitch in for a strike, and we mentioned kind of that tailor-made double play ball on a dry infield. That might come in a little faster. It might come out a little quicker.
As soon as he hit it, I thought it was tailor-made, and then you watch how the water kind of slowed it down, and it made it a tough double play.
Breaking ball up out of the zone. Yeah, you get that ball in the wet grass, and then it hits the dirt, becomes a little muddy. You got to get a good grip on it. And the Redskins running down the baselines aren't slow by any stretch of imagination either.
They show good team speed regardless of the stolen base numbers. A little bigger lead at first.
That pitch out of the zone.
You know, when the ground's wet, the dirt's even the dirt under the grass is softer, so it's going to slow down a ground ball through the middle.
2 down here in the top of the second. Redskins have already played it 2. Runners on the corner, says Kunk. Comes plateward with the 2-1. That Bender in for a strike.
Expect to see Jolly take off here with 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Deuce is wild.
I always thought this was a good count to run on, and then you get a chance to hit.
There goes Jolly. That one chopped back to third and foul.
I think Jolly deked us, Garrett. Looked like he got out there about 3 steps and stopped.
Oh.
I saw him take off.
I was going to say, I don't think I'm going crazy, but I thought that Jolly was taking the jaunt down to second. Runners on the corners. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Top of the second, 2-0 Redskins. Kunk will check the runner. Come plateward. That one in for strike three,
Nice pitch.
called.
Nice pitch.
And Kunk gets out of the jam, allowing just 2 runs as Bailey goes down on the Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating strikeout. So the Redskins able to do some damage here in the top of the second. Coldwater will try to get it back when we return here on WOSN. Tonight's baseball game on WOSN presented by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit criver.com for more information. Home half of the second inning here at Redskins with a 2-0 lead over Coldwater. As the Cavaliers start the inning with Mason Smith, the left fielder, hitting .373 from the left-handed batter's box. Smith, like several of his counterparts in the Coldwater lineup, nearing or above 20 RBIs on the season, has 17. So you'll watch the first pitch in from Hauser, just a little low.
You know, they really have a nice, even spread of numbers throughout the lineup.
Absolutely.
You can tell they can attack with any part, any third of the lineup.
And there's a drive down the first base line and just foul. And it was probably looking at extra bases here for Smith.
Yeah, I'd say.
Hit just inside the line.
I might have a little bit better view than you, but it looked like it was only about 2 feet over.
It was not from...
I know where you're sitting, the extreme right side's kind of blocked out.
I got the corner of the press box, then a post from the overhang, and then our lovely cameraman Hot Dog down there on top of the first base dugout looking like he's enjoying his day.
I thought Jacob had that one.
The 1-1. That one in the dirt. Appreciate our WOSN crew braving the elements tonight.
I'm not sure what's covered more, Jacob's head or the camera.
He knows what's more important. Get some more baseballs out here into the field of play after probably putting them in the incubator over there in the third base dugout. That one uncorked. Didn't look like Hauser loved that baseball.
No, it'd be nice for Darren if he can come out and get that first batter, especially after scoring his team scoring 2 runs and giving him a little bit of a lead.
Mason Smith awaits the 3-1. That one skied back into the parking area.
I hope I park far enough away, Garrett.
You know, when I pulled in the parking lot, I was like, why aren't there many cars up here in the first 2 rows?
There's a reason.
Like, yep. You know.
There's a reason. It won't be the first windshield that got taken out in Coldwater.
The 3-2. That one in for a strikeout. A Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating K as Mason Smith goes down looking. It's the first strikeout tallied by Hauser here on the evening.
Really nice job of Darren coming back and getting him. Wasn't sure Tim Sherman was going to call that, but as soon as he did, he sold it.
So 1 down here in the bottom of the second. Hauser left that one in the left-handed batter's box.
Like he tried to throw a curveball.
Just never snapped on him.
Yet another 300 hitter for the Cavs.
Yeah, Cody Depweg, 310, 1 home run, 21 RBIs. That's in the 6 hole. Chopper to third base, grabbed by Drew Bailey. He'll fire across the diamond.
It's a good job by Bailey to come up and get that before that second hop.
Joel Moore.
The less hops it takes in the grass, Garrett, tonight is a distinct positive.
Yes. Braxton Taylor, the designated hitter, comes to the plate for Coldwater now. Yeah, you're right. Drew Bailey kind of over there in no man's land on that chopper and made a quick decision. Turned out to be the right one. Quickly 2 down here in the home half of the second. That pitch out of the zone. Miracle tried to pull it back into the zone, see if he couldn't get the call. It's a 1-0 count. Hauser working quickly here. That one bounced.
Here's kind of an overlooked stat for you for Braxton Taylor, leading the team in hit by pitches with 9.
Hey, doesn't matter how you get on.
A significant lead over his next closest teammate, Mason Smith, that has 4.
He's not really crowding the plate or anything like that either.
Some kids just have a knack, being a magnet.
That pitch just below the knees. And it's a quickly 3-0 count.
He's probably disappointed they're pitching him away.
Taylor's drawn 11 walks this season. That one nicked the outside corner.
Every pitch has been out there this at bat.
That one fouled off, and just like that, we've now got a full count.
You know, if Hauser comes back and gets him, that's 2 hitters this inning that he went deep 3-1 on and came back.
2-0 Wapak on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Hauser, the payoff pitch, fouled down the first base
Gonna
line.
have a play down here.
And it's corraled by the right fielder, Blake Rogers, to retire the Cavaliers in order. We played 2. Wapak 2. Coldwater nothing on the WOSN. Tonight's third inning brought to you by Burke Petroleum. They're now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, and industrial users. Burke Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097. First batter of the inning for the Redskins, Griffin Miracle, takes a cut at the first pitch he sees from Owen Kunk.
Griffin having a really nice year with a 350 average, batting from the left side.
You know what? We have a new pitcher on the mound for the Coldwater Cavaliers.
Might be a staff night.
Caleb Schroer on the mound for Coldwater. That pitch up and out of the zone.
Caleb working his 3rd game of the year, it appears, at the pitcher spot.
So a 3-1 count.
Caleb, one of 5 juniors on this Cavaliers veteran squad.
That pitch up and out of the zone, and a free pass issued to the catcher, Griffin Miracle. So he's aboard for the first time tonight.
Griffin working a leadoff walk. Got Mason Legwig, who grounded out hard to third base the last inning.
That first pitch hits him, and quickly 2 batters aboard for the Redskins. And that'll bring up Joel Moore.
Caleb working himself into a little bit of a jam here initially. Joe, the first guy that kind of started that rally for the Redskins in the last inning, leading off with a single and eventually scoring their first run of the game.
So nobody down, top of the 3rd, and he'll try to lay the bunt down. Got the bottom of the barrel, rolls foul. Moore got the base hit. Able to come around all the way to score. Thought he was dead to rights there for a moment on the rundown. Able to slide into third base safely. Extended that inning for the Redskins a couple of different times. Retreated back that third base after a bunt attempt. Loaded the bases up. Runners on first and second. Another
nice bunt.
Perfect bunt
Really
for
nice
Moore.
bunt.
That's a tough field for first baseman Mason Welsh. And he's able to corral it.
Well, sacrifice 2-4 for the first out of the inning, and the Redskins move up into scoring position. You got the pitcher Hauser, who walked the last time. Came around to score Wapak's 2nd run of the game.
Now batting number 18.
2 runners in scoring position. 1 down.
And the rain persists.
Yeah, we thought it might be gone by about 6 o'clock or so as the bender in from Schroer in for a strike. Thought it'd be about 6 o'clock.
It's a little tardy.
6:10, and
We're still watching raindrops.
it is maybe picked up just a little bit.
It's not let up, that's for sure.
That pitch gets past Spriggs, and the runners will stay right where they are, parked at second and third base.
Griffin didn't look like he saw that real well, but there's not a ton of room here behind home plate at Coldwater, and you don't know what kind of bounce you're going to get back to the catcher.
For as hard as that came in and came bouncing
Sure.
off the backstop, probably made their wise decision.
And with one out, you don't want to take away a chance for your team to score here.
The 1-1. Bender in for a strike. Perfect placement.
Yeah, it's a nice pitch. Hopefully for Caleb, he settles down here a little bit and gets into some kind of rhythm. Didn't have a chance the first two hitters, but with a walk and a hit batter.
Setting up on the outside of Spriggs, comes back on the inside,
That'll
and
get a
there's a
run in.
swing and a drive. Ranging back in left field, it's dropped. One run will come in to score. It'll be just a long single as Miracle trots in home. But Hauser put a charge into that one.
Mason Smith kind of drifted with that ball. Instead of getting behind it and catching it with two hands, he tried to make a one-handed catch off to the side, which is going to result in an error on the left fielder.
That'll bring up Rogers once more. Struck out.
That'd be no RBI with the official score of the error. Runners moving up to now in the corners, first and third.
Now a 3-0 game, and squared around a bunt, pulled it back. Did Rogers.
Wapak showing the proclivity of using a small game here.
We saw Rogers stab at a bunt attempt at his first at-bat, pulled it back both times in at-bat number 2. So
We talked about him not having a lot of at-bats on the season and just seemed a little bit overmatched with Kunk. We'll see how he approaches Schroer here if he can get a strike.
that one dug out of the dirt by
He may not get a
Spriggs.
chance.
3-0 count. Runners on the corners. Just one down here in the top of the third. That one in for a strike. And now Wapak head coach Jason Brandt wants to have a chat with his number 7 hitter.
Wapak doing 3 runs of damage and a guy in scoring position and only having 2 hits on the game, but we've seen a lot of misplayed balls and wild pitches, some pass balls. I should probably say wild pitches, not necessarily pass balls.
That one just out of the zone. And now the walk will draw the bases loaded. It's just the second walk of the season for Blake Rogers. And now Zach Fisher will come to the plate.
As we talked last time up, Zach with a base hit, but was already hitting .342.
Bases full of Redskins, one down. Chopper foul on the third base side.
He eventually was a runner that was erased on that attempted double play ball.
But laid down that great bunt.
He sure did.
Able to scurry down the line.
No room for Zach here.
Schroer. That one. To
That'll
short.
get a run in.
Blockberger able to scoop it up, but a run will score. And Fisher will reach safely.
The Cavs having all kind of issues fielding ground balls on this field today with their 4th error of the game.
So now 2 runs put on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard here in the top of the 3rd inning. And now Coldwater bench boss Corey Klenke will go out and chat with his infield.
Garrett, that was going to be a really tough play for Blockberger. It was to his right in the hole. And, if he didn't have a play in front of him at third base, he would have had to plant his feet and throw all the way across the diamond. So, yes, he gets scored with an error, but you wonder if he had a play anyhow.
And it's Wapak's kind of put the ball in just tough spots for
They
Coldwater
have.
to hand. It hasn't necessarily been routine Ground balls that have been the bugaboo for the Cavaliers.
As we talked early, balls that take more than 1 or 2 bounces in the grass are an adventure tonight.
Mullen reached on the fielder's choice his first time up. The last inning. Comes up with bases still loaded. And puts one in the hole. One is coming in to score. They'll put the red line on at third.
How about Jarrett Mullen with 2 RBIs tonight? Huge out of that 9 hole.
So Hauser came around to score. Rogers goes to third, Fisher to second, and Mullen on as the lineup turns over once more. Grant Jolly will be the 7th hitter of the inning.
Now batting the shortstop, number 2, Grant Jolly.
This makes 5 guys on base tonight when Grant Jolly comes to the plate.
Wow. Batted in every inning as the pitch in the left-handed batter's box on to Bender. Jolly has reached base every time he's been up. Rolled him to second base and forced 2 errors. That were to happen again.
Be ready, Aaron.
Yeah, that'll be a one up in the middle. Blockberger.
Nice play by
Fine
Blockberger.
play. Well, one out
Ooh.
at first, and
I don't know about that call.
And the double play. There's 6-4-3 ends the inning.
Coach Brandt's on a road trip.
And the Redskins do some damage in the top of the third. We'll come back here on WOSN. Tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, located in Wapak, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Locally owned and operated, Lee's isn't just famous for chicken, famous for catering, too. It's 5-0 Wapak. Redskins with crooked numbers in the second and the third. Cavaliers going to go back to work. At the plate, Bennett Spriggs will watch a pitch out of the zone.
You know, Garrett, I know we were ending an inning, but I hope that people watching this broadcast really get a chance to see the play that Balin Blockberger just made. Unbelievable pick to the backside and started an inning-ending double play.
There aren't many high school shortstops who are going to make that play.
Yes, sir. On a short
get one out, let alone 2 there. As Hauser uncorks one out of the zone. It's a 2-1 count to Spriggs. Batting for the first time tonight, the catcher, 244 on the season. Thought about that one. Maybe should have took a cut. It runs the count to 2-2.
Yeah, we're in the third inning, and we've seen Grant Jolly bat 3 times, and we're seeing Bennett Spriggs and Miles Pockhotter for the first time.
Hauser, that one stung into center field. Stepping back is Mullen. He'll make the catch. Spriggs retired on the F8 put out.
So how impressed are you with the composure of Mr. Hauser so far?
You know what? When you look at the lineup that the Cavaliers trotting out tonight, I don't know that I would want to pitch against. I would want to trot out there, but he's been effective as all get out here through the first.
You don't have to strike people out to get them out.
Had a couple of flyouts. That's the third put out Jarrett Mullins made in center field.
Yeah, Jarrett's had 3, and we've had 1 fly out to right field, so 4 of the 8 outs so far have been in the air.
Yeah.
Those are the easy ones, you'd hope.
Hauser, that one comes right to him. Jolly with a strong throw for the out.
That guy didn't have any trouble with the wet grass, did he?
No, he did not.
Really nice
6-3
play.
put out.
Really nice play by Grant.
And quickly, 2 down for the Cavaliers as the top of the order comes back up. Brady Layfeld hitting .314.
If you watch how low Grant stayed across the bag and into a position to throw, very smooth. The reason he's got all the accolades he's had as a baseball player.
That pitch in for a strike from Hauser.
Our first Cavs hitter that we get to see for the second time tonight.
Layfeld flew out to center field his first time up. That breaker never broke. Stayed on the inside.
Stayed to the inside, didn't it?
Just on the inside of that batter's box.
Is the sky looking darker or lighter over your right shoulder?
It is. Look out as Layfeld almost wore one. Is the cloud covers coming towards veteran field here in Coldwater?
I don't think we're heading towards sunshine, but maybe a recession of some water.
That bender didn't snap off for Hauser either, and it's now a 3-1 count.
It's not getting the same break on it he did the first couple innings, is he? Not this far.
2 down here in the home half of the third. Hauser's pitch nicks the outside corner, runs a count full.
Well, you want to bet he comes back with a fastball here after charging back from 3-0, 3-1.
That one fouled off, out of play down the first base side. Get a new baseball out to Darren Hauser. Layfeld, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, drawn 20 walks this season. Payoff pitch.
That was pretty close to the previous pitch.
Each side, Hauser was headed toward the dugout, and Layfeld was headed towards first base, and he just missed. And Layfeld reaches on his 21st base on balls of the season.
The table setter is on.
And now we'll get a pinch hitter is Carson Holman.
That was a pretty tough take, though, with 2 strikes.
Yeah, that is
2 outs, 2 strikes.
an awful close pitch. He might suggest that he's just got such a good eye.
Got a keen eye over there,
that he
doesn't
knew. He retreats back to first base on a pickoff move from Hauser. But a runner aboard for the first time since the first inning for Coldwater. Just the second runner to reach for the Cavaliers. As there's a chopper from Homer through the hole as Layfeld thought about turning for 3 pretty hard. Instead, will drop back to second base. So
I really like that turn by Layfield because if there's any bobble at all, he's got third base. And he's reading that play right in front of him to see if the left fielder, Zach Fisher, comes up with it clean.
So Carson Holman with the base knock.
Coldwater really putting together their first back-to-back threat to the game here with the middle lineup. This is the guy you want to see come up if you're the Cavs.
Mason Welsh ducks on the pond as
Mr. Category leader.
Hauser comes set. That pitch behind the catcher.
Ooh.
And he pop up, and Miracle thought about uncorking it, never did, and now runners in scoring position.
He had to throw that ball right over Mason Welsh, who was still in the batter's box. You know, with a 5-run lead, there's probably nothing wrong with just holding that ball.
Yeah. 2 outs. Although, maybe the one batter you don't want to give extra life to.
You could pitch around him now, though.
That's true.
Because the first base being open, you don't have to try to make him force him to hit your pitch. Got left field and center playing pretty deep with Mason at the plate.
The 2-0 to Hauser.
Does it look to you like they're nibbling a little bit now?
Right before that pitch, I thought, you know what, Chandy, you just say, hey, you know what? Enjoy first base.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not even going to get a 2-0 count if you bring anything in there. There's a decent chance. It's a 464 hitter, and he's got a base knock already. There's one up the middle as it skips off the glove of Jolly. Welsh is safe, and the run comes in to score, and the Cavaliers get on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard for the first time tonight.
You know, that ball had that same type of hop that we saw the first batter of the game that Kalp tried to field. It kind of had that spinning second hop.
Batting the shortstop, number 5, Balin Blockberger.
Balin Blockberger flew out to center his first time up. Runners on the corners.
The ball's not real far from where Mason hit the first ball. That base hit that he had, it was just to the right of second base. That one also right up the middle. You can always tell really good hitters that can just drive the ball where it came from.
Welsh with a healthy lead at first. Blockberger, chopper down to third, grab. Strong throw across the diamond. Wind goes wide, 1 run will score. Welsh giving the signal, come on home. No play at the plate, he's up easy as Blockberger will take off for third, and he'll stand up. A pair of costly errors for the Redskins have cost them a couple of runs.
Not only you get costly error the runs, you got a kid at third base already. Yeah, that ball got tanked over first base and got down there in the area that we can't really see, and you could tell that the right fielder, Blake Rogers, was having a hard time getting that ball back in.
So Blockberger wheels all the way around to third. Welsh comes around to score. So back-to-back errors for the Redskins. And Wapak will have a conversation about how to get out of the inning after surrendering their first 3 runs of the night on the least famous recipe chicken scoreboard.
You know, baseball, one of those interesting games. The first team that can get 21 outs the most efficiently, and you know, almost every run we've seen today has had some aspect of non-efficiency.
They have not really manufactured runs today. It's been gifted runs. 5-3 ball game. Coldwater comes into tonight 19-1 on the season, undefeated in the Midwest Athletic Conference. Wapak, meanwhile, 12-3 on the season. 2 of their 3 losses coming inside the Western Buckeye League play, where they're 6-2. Second to undefeated Defiance in conference action.
You know, Coldwater's had, you know, you look at their opening game, they get beat by Ben Logan 7-5 and then rip off 19 in a row.
Mason Smith fouls one down the first base side. Smith struck out looking his first time up.
Feels like the strategy of the Cavs is kind of altered here a little bit. If they see the first pitch they like, they're gonna swing at it.
Damage in this inning coming with 2 down. 3 runs put on the board with 2 outs. That one nearly hit Smith. He thinks he did get hit.
You know, it looked like Hauser was just cruising right through this, and then
No, I think the umpires are going to talk about it and see if Mason Smith got hit.
He got him in the foot?
Yeah, he immediately took his bat and went to chuck it towards the third base dugout. And
got the appeal to Chris Roop, who says, no, sir, let's play ball.
Still a runner in scoring position for the Cavaliers. 1-1 count, 2 down. Smith, a .373 hitter, 17 RBIs. That one spiked by Hauser.
An old 55-footer right there.
Good
really
job.
nice block.
I was just going to say, good job by Griffin Merrick, because the runner on third, you can't let anything by you, and he handled that pitch well.
You know, the short hops are the ones that are easier for the catchers to block, but when you have them bouncing in front of home plate and they're hitting you up high on the chest protector or the mask, you have to really have your body squared up.
2-1. That one in for a strike on the outer half of the plate.
Did you say the outer half or the outside of the outer half?
The outer half.
Looks like they might have had some extended width.
That one driven down the first base line and foul by the left-hander hitting Smith. Count stays 2-2.
Smith last time got called out looking on strikes on a pitch that was on that border again. Yeah, how many times do you see a high school game? You got 5 hits at this point and 6 errors.
Especially
between 2 state-ranked teams.
Between 2 very good teams. And Smith pops one over to third base. It's gloved by Drew Bailey, and the Redskins get out of the inning. But not before Coldwater puts some runs on the board. It's a 5-3 ball game after 3 here on WOSN. Strikeouts on WOSN, brought to you by Cook & Son Plumbing and Heating, specializing in old-time service since 1978. Find them online at Facebook or call 419-738-8956. It's a 5-3 game here in the top half of the 4th inning as we've gone through probably 5 or 6 bags of Diamond Dry. We were outpacing runs with bags of Diamond Dry before.
I think Wapak and Diamond Dry both have 5, and Coldwater has 3.
So we're keeping track. It's not going down in the scorebook, but
we've got Diamond Dry in 2 different zip codes here. Home plate and the mound.
Just making sure we get this one in.
I think we're catching up with it, though. I think the weather's kind of
crooked numbers
backing off a little bit.
You know what? It looks like we might just be just about done with the wet stuff.
I don't think we're going to get dry grass by the end of the game.
I don't. Yeah, it's still going to be a difficult ball to handle if it hit to you on the infield, but might be able to pitch it a little harder and a little more faith that it's going to go where you want it to.
Sir.
Redskins coming to the plate with Drew Bailey, as Grant Jolly was the last batter retired in the 3rd inning on the 6-4-3 double play. And Miracle is hitting for the 3rd time, flew out to left field and struck out looking once as Caleb Shore goes back to work. On the bump. That bender missed just inside.
Drew making the last put out. in the bottom of the last inning with that little soft fly ball his way.
That pitch spiked into the left-handed batter's box. So quickly a 2-0 count. Mentioned earlier, two of the better teams in the area, two of the better teams in the state. Division 3, number 7 ranked Wapak. Division 5, number 3rd ranked Coldwater. Both finding out their tournament paths, trying to find their way to Akron, as that one spiked as well. It's a 3-0 count. And Chad, for Coldwater, it's maybe a little bit more familiar path than when now we've got an extended Division 7 divisions in baseball.
Exactly. And, you know, them bumped down to Division 5 this year. Number 1 seed in the Bluffton sectional district. They'll take on Spencerville on May 24th, right here at noon.
That one driven into right field, ranging back over the head of Cody Depweg, as Bailey will grab the first extra base hit of the night for either side.
It isn't so much that Cody broke in on it, but Cody didn't break back on it, and that ball got over his head quickly.
So Bailey with the double, and the Redskins will start the inning with a runner in scoring position with Griffin Miracle, who struck out and walked, came around to score the run for the Redskins in the last inning, will come to the plate.
Most of the teams that are in Coldwater's bracket that local fans might be familiar with are in the top part of that bracket. Should Coldwater be able to beat Spencerville, they then would play the winner of Oak Harbor and Willard.
Yeah, that's quite the expansive district there.
You know, you go clear over to Willard and Oak Harbor, and the only really teams from our area would be Liberty Benton and Bluffton. Might be some schools that people on this side of the state are more familiar with, other than Fostoria. I think the path looks good for the Cavs if they can get through those first couple games.
There's a hearty cut from Miracle. Shore got one past him. And you mentioned, I mean, we're almost darn near to the state line down here in Coldwater,
Sure.
and that goes all the way up to Lake Erie with Oak Harbor and Willard.
Well, just the fact that they're in the Northwest, you know, says a lot about the way the state's sectioned off.
There's a swing and a base hit for Miracle. We'll see if they send Bailey home. They do. He's got the wheel on. A play at the plate. He slides in safely, and it's a 6-3 lead for the Wapak Redskins.
We have our more so first conventional run of the game.
Yeah, the first real kind of manufactured.
Griffin Miracle with his 18th RBI of the season.
And now Mason Ludwig, the designated hitter, will come to the plate. Still nobody down here in the top of the 4th inning. Miracle with 5 stolen bases on the season. So there's a swing and a drive right past the third baseman, Miles Potcutter. And the Redskins now stringing together a couple of hits here.
Redskins don't seem to be fooled by the fastball. All 3 hits this inning coming on straight pitches from Caleb Schroer. Joel Moore's been in the middle of it tonight with a base hit, and then, of course, a good sacrifice in the last inning.
Moore
squares to bunt again.
Stuck a bat head out, pulled it back wisely. First pitch in for a ball. Runners on first and second, nobody down. Rain still falling here at Veterans Field as Moore puts down another good bunt. Shore pounces off the mound and makes a good throw.
Nice bunt and a nice play.
To first base, but another sacrifice bunt for Joel Moore. And we got runners on second and third now. Bringing Darren Hauser to the plate, looking to help his own cause. Hauser pitched pretty well through the first couple of innings for the Cavaliers.
Scored 2 of their 6 runs so far also offensively without a hit. He walked, got on by an error by the left fielder in the last inning.
Yeah, had that long fly ball out to left field. Ranging back was Mason Smith. Glanced off the glove. First pitch into Moore, or into Hauser, I beg your pardon, a strike. That pitch out of the zone. Shore putting in the work here. Trying to find a strike zone. See if he can't grab some Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating strikeouts. At Bender. Nice pitch. In for a strike. He's able to throw that for a strike. That's going to be a dangerous pitch.
That's a tough pitch right there.
The 1-2. That one up the middle, and that'll drop. Base knock. And 1 run will score. They'll send the second. Trotting around and standing up. It's Mason Ludwig, and that's a 2-run single for Darren Hauser. Give him RBIs number 9 and 10 on the year.
Wapak widening the gap here.
Just a well-struck ball.
Yeah, several well-struck balls this inning. Let's see what Blake Rogers does in a situation where he may not be bunting. And again, he might be bunting.
He might be bunting. Rogers came into tonight with just 6 at-bats on the season already. At-bat number 3 of the evening.
Man, you got a 500 hitter bunting every time.
He's putting the bat head out each time he's been up there. And does it again. That one. Rolling just foul. And it's quickly an 0-2 count. Rogers, 2 RBIs on the season coming into today. Struck out once, walked another time.
Was stranded at third in the 3rd inning. Wapak able to put several crooked numbers up here, 3 of the 4 innings.
Sure. Just missed off the edge of the plate.
That surprised you if he's squaring with 2 strikes,
It did. I was surprised that he put that bat head out.
I kind of wonder if that's a him thing or a coach thing.
Strike 3, looking. The second time Blake Rogers has gone down on the Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating strikeout. Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating, specializing in old-time service since 1978. Find them on Facebook or call 419-738-8956.
Caleb Schroer, see if he can't wiggle out of this inning here. As we mentioned a little bit ago, a very conventional inning with 4 hits.
Popped up bunt. Schroer pounces off the mound. Makes the throw. He's out. And the Redskins go down. They grab 3 runs to extend the lead to 8-3 on the Lay's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. We'll go to the home half of the 4th when we return on WOSN. Tonight's 4th inning brought to you by Burke Petroleum, now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, and industrial users. Burke Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097. Cody Depwag hitting for just the 2nd time here, and skies one.
Played by the first baseman here.
On the infield, it is squeezed by Joel Moore for the out.
You know, Wapak did exactly what you'd want to do if you're Coach Brent. You give up 3 runs and then you get those 3 back.
Right.
So you get your original margin back in place and send Hauser out there again and say, go get him, son. Keep it up.
Braxton Taylor now to the plate.
As we discussed, it wasn't that they hit Hauser hard.
Yeah, no, it's he has not been the reason there's been crooked numbers on the scoreboard from Coldwater. First pitch to Taylor, in for a strike. Hauser's been effective, too.
Yeah, you mentioned this a couple innings ago about, a young guy with not a lot of innings against a really good team and showing a lot of moxie out there.
Another swing and a miss from Taylor. Quickly an 0-2 count.
He's been pretty effective with both pitches. I mean, considering the elements.
Yeah, it can be hard to snap off a breaking ball when the ball's wet like that, but there's a bouncer just over the glove of Hauser, and then a tough play at second base for Ethan Brandt. Play. And the runner is aboard. That's first time on for Taylor this evening. And that will bring Bennett Spriggs to the plate. Flew out to center field last inning. 244 hitter.
Official scorebook calls that an E4 on Ethan Brandt.
That pitch just a little high from Hauser. Braxton Taylor with 13 stolen bases coming into tonight.
Definitely a threat to go.
And they'll check on him. Back in time is the Cavalier designated hitter.
Hauser says, I knew that. Sprague flight out to center as last time.
Skies one in the outfield once more. Mullen coming on, and instead we'll leave it off to Blake Rogers to make the squeeze.
Blake Rogers got a really nice jump on that ball. I kind of caught him out of the periphery originally. I thought and Mullen might have a play on that, but the ball kept drifting that way. But Rogers with a nice break and made it look easy.
Now Miles Buckcutter to the plate. Grounded out to short his last time up. 2 down here in the home half of the fourth. Chuck the runner at first. Taylor back in time.
What a facility here, huh, Garrett?
Oh,
Just
fantastic.
perfectly situated in the community.
Take pride in Veterans Field here at Coldwater.
Renovations that they've done to the surface in the last 2 years has made an already really good playing surface excellent.
That pitch in for a strike on the other half of the plate. It's a 1-1 count. 2 down here in the bottom of the fourth.
And I don't know about you, but I really like the press box tonight.
Don't get that amenity at some places. And we would be, I would have to have pulled my car up here so I could keep all my papers dry. And
keep our glasses dry.
yeah. The 2-1 from Hauser. Working in the fourth inning. That one fouled back.
I had that one, by the way.
I was going to say, that was coming right at us.
Right in my face, but I had it.
I'm glad you're confident about it.
I didn't say I caught it.
You might have been flying solo the rest of the way if it was any more towards this first base side.
We still got some rain showers. You can see all the people with their umbrellas still up.
And thought, you know what? Maybe, nope, it's still going to keep on raining. The 2-2. Taylor running. The throw down and not in time from Miracle. A strong throw, however. Made it a little closer than it probably should have been.
Brant with a nice pick. That was a tough backhand play. Well, Potcutter can get one to the outfield grass. As deep as Wapak's playing, it should be 8-4.
Payoff pitch. That one missed. And Potcutter's aboard for the first time this evening.
Did it kind of surprise you that their outfield's playing so deep with the bottom of the lineup up?
Yeah, it is. They are back quite a ways, and it's probably a little bit deeper of an outfield here at Coldwater than maybe at some other fields, and you're just kind of used to this is how far I usually play from the wall.
And it lays different with that terrace in left center.
Yeah. Top of the order, Brady Layfeld. Reached on a walk the last time up.
This is a park, if you feel yourself running uphill, you know you're about to hit the wall.
Only bad things happen when you're running uphill.
A lot of balls get lost out there and become triples.
The 1-0. Missed. Throw down to first, and it skips away.
Too.
And now Taylor will come around. He'll score, make it an 8-4 game. The runner advances to second base.
The old E1.
Yes, Braxton Taylor.
He had him picked.
I looked down there and I saw where the runner was, and I thought, oh boy, and then saw the ball rolling down the first base line.
Did I say E1? I meant E2.
So the lead now down to 4. And a runner in scoring position for Brady Layfeld. 13 RBIs on the season. Drew will walk his last time up. They'll throw back to second base.
I'm still going to throw the ball around a little bit.
And that throw to second with that inside move from the right-hander, you've always got to make sure you operate that just perfectly. Otherwise, you're running that risk of sending him to third on the ball because that pitch misses outside.
Yeah, it's a tough move to teach, and some kids can do it and some kids don't. But once that front foot crosses and you go backwards, you're thrown against your body for the right-handed hitter or pitcher.
Yeah, pitch in for a strike on the 3-1 count. 8-4 ball game on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard.
Drew Bailey kind of hugging the line down there at third base, opens a big hole between the shortstop and the third baseman.
22nd walk of the season drawn by Brady Layfeld. He's on again with the base on balls. And that brings up Carson Holman. Pinch hit for Aaron Kaup back in the third inning. Got a base hit. Advanced on a pass ball. Came around to score. The second run of the game for the Cavaliers. Holman looking to get back on base. Driving a run or two. As Hauser comes set with runners at first and second. Squared around a bunt.
Holman having a heck of a year, coming in at 383 with 23 hits, 12 steals. Definitely a catalyst at the top of this lineup.
He'll take a stab at it, offered at it. Is that almost a, we're going to dare you to throw the ball across the diamond to first base
I'm
there?
not really sure what's going on here with down 4, 2 down on one of your better hitters at the plate. We already have a man in scoring position.
He puts down a good bunt. And he beats it out. Oh, no, he's called out.
That's the way the game's going so far.
That's a tough out at first base. But the inning ends on the strong throw from Darren Hauser. And we'll go to the fifth. 8-4 game here on WOSN. High school baseball tonight on WOSN, brought to you by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit criver.com for more information. The center fielder, Jarrett Mullen, coming up for the third time on the evening, and he'll foul one high into the air on the first base side. Ranging to the fence near side is Mason Welsh. And he squeezes it for the out.
Mason made a heck of a play right under the it couldn't have been under the overhang, but right by the overhang. We were blocked from it.
Right, the only way I could tell is folks wearing orange and black were clapping their hands. They were excited.
Pleased.
So after just one pitch, Caleb Schroer back out on the bump for his third consecutive inning.
You know, as a player, I always hated popping out on the infield, but especially to first base.
Yeah.
I'd like to tell you I never did, but that would not be a truth.
Grant Jolly back at the top of the order for the Redskins. Reached twice on an error. Gone up the middle each time. Is that pitch off the plate as well? Make it a 2-0 count. Jolly, a .568 hitter.
Doesn't have a hit to show tonight for his efforts so far.
That pitch missed inside. So 3-0 count. We've got an 8-4 ball game and have had just one extra base hit for either side. That pitch missed as well. Oh, okay. It's a strike.
I think you're right, Garrett.
It's a 3-1 on a 3-0 count. If it's anywhere in the ballpark, it's about.
Bennett Spriggs kind of backhand that one and got a strike call.
So the 3-1. That one, look out.
Little shoulder action on a curveball.
And
a little hit by pitch.
Jolly was quick to point out that wasn't the bat. It didn't sound like it hit the bat. It hit me in the shoulder.
Showing the location of that.
So he'll reach on a hit by pitch and bring up Drew Bailey, who has the lone extra base hit for either side tonight. Had that double in the last inning. Came around to score. 1 for 3 on the day. Yeah, Schroer will check Jolly at first. That one chopped down the third baseline. Foul.
You think Bailey's a pull hitter?
He was well ahead of that one.
Sitting dead red.
Jolly dangerous on the base pass. Has not really had the chance to run all that often. Did have the stolen base back in the first inning, but otherwise been stranded there at first base. They'll check on him. He dives back in safely. Welsh applies the tag. Chopper down the third base line again. Bailey early on the first 2 pitches.
Quickly with 2 strikes. If we can kind of inject here Wapak's tournament trail, maybe through the next couple hitters. Having had the draw Sunday.
And now Schroer will step off. Redskins in Division III, the number 7th ranked team.
Going to play in the Tiffin sectional district.
At Bender, out of the zone.
Wapak gets a bye in the first round. They will play the winner of the Salina and Shawnee matchup. Shawnee travels to Salina on May 20th, and the winner of that will go to Wapak on May 22nd.
Checking a runner at first again. Jolly back in time.
And again, with the division seedings, you know, some of these teams might not be familiar to the people in our area. Defiance is basically the only other team that's from our Northwest, the western part of Northwest.
As that one stung by Bailey in the hole on the left side, and there's runners on first and second.
Have a day, Mr. Bailey.
It is his second hit of the afternoon.
Defiance plays in the top. They got the top seed of that bracket. So
and Defiance undefeated on the season. They are having a fine campaign.
They're having a Defiance type year. But should Wapak beat the winner of Salina Shawnee, they would then play the winner of Norwalk and Ashland on the 29th of May. So interesting tournament seeds this year with expanded divisions.
Yeah, you get some maybe unfamiliar opponents. Here's the first pitch from Schroer out of the zone. Griffin Miracle at the dish. Scored twice today.
It's going to go foul.
That one tailing foul. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Miracle 1 for 2.
Miracle's been on those 2 times today with a walk and a single and scored 2 of Wapak's 8 runs. If you look at your scorecard, folks, the middle of that lineup is almost where all the runs being scored by the Redskins have been today. Nice block behind the plate.
Yeah, Spriggs.
By Spriggs. You know, all things considered, I think he's handled himself very well behind the plate tonight.
Yeah, it's not been the easiest of conditions, and he's hung tough back there behind the plate. And Schroer comes set. That one's in for a strike.
Garrett, have you noticed that umbrellas are down across the ballpark? The umbrellas are officially down.
Still under the overhang, but no more umbrellas.
There's no sunshine to venture into.
2-2 count, 1 down. Just about to eclipse 7 o'clock here on a game that started at 5:30 as Bender didn't bend, and it's a full count now.
He kind of fell off that pitch, and it just kind of floated to the outside part of the plate and up.
Runners first and second. Number 3 hitter, Griffin Miracle, in the Redskin order. At the plate, the payoff pitch. Skied.
It's going to be a tough play.
Ranging backwards. Making the catch is Miles Potcutter. And it's 2 down now for the Redskins.
Miles got a good break on that pop-up.
And that'll bring Mason Ludwig to the plate. Ludwig, like Miracle before him, 2 runs on the evening.
Wapak with a chance to break this open a bit if they can.
Put a charge
put the
in
ball
on.
in play. 3 and 4, the 3 and 4 spot of the lineup. Mr. Shore, 2/3 of the way there.
Still runners on first and second. Now he'll step off. Ludwig awaits the first offering. Drives it down the third base side. Potcutter waits for it. Will make the throw across the diamond. A long stretch for Welsh. Makes the grab. And
we've got another disputed call here. Wapak's challenging that the first baseman was
Welsh
off
was
the bag.
on the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Cavaliers feel confident.
They're not confident enough.
Yes.
Home plate umpire Tim Sherman overrules the base umpire and says he saw some space between Welsh's foot and the bag.
Ludwig gets the base knock, and now the bases are loaded. It was a strong stretch from Mason Welsh to try to record that out.
You know, if you watch that play on video, though, Pockheader set back on that ball.
Yeah, he
and
waited for it a little bit.
Yeah, I think he
Took probably
should
a
have
third
charged
hop.
it. Exactly. He should have charged that ball and come in and made a play.
So Joel Moore has got a couple of sack bunts to his credit. Also had a base knockback in the second inning. 1 for 1 on the day.
You have to attack that baseball, especially with 2 outs, because the whole time you're sitting there, the runner's going down the line.
A well struck ball, but right foul on the third base bag. Evens the count at 1 apiece.
Joe Moore's happy he gets to swing the bat. He's sacrificed the last 2 times up, which is kind of unusual when you think about it for a man in the 4-5 hole of the lineup.
Moore, a 275 hitter. Not only is he happy to swing the bat, bases are full of Redskins because he does get to take some cuts. Shore comes set, the 1-1. That one in for a strike.
Joel says that looked outside.
So now a 1-2 count, a 2 down.
No instant replay in high school baseball, Garrett. It is what it is.
Can't tap the top of the helmet and ask for a ball strike challenge. That one, decidedly a ball.
Another nice pick by Spriggs.
So deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. And an 8-4 game on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard.
Definitely not a quickly moving game.
No. Had a couple of Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating strikeouts earlier in the game. Not had many since, as that ball fouled out of plate behind home plate. As Moore hangs tough.
Joel got the first knock for the Redskins today, back in the 2nd inning in his second at bat. I'm sorry, his first at bat.
Schroer will come playward on the 2-2. Curveball just out of the zone at the letters. And the count full.
Well, we got people moving here.
High
Full count, 2
leverage
outs.
situation. Runners occupying every base. Moore awaits the 3-2. Fouls it off of Spriggs.
Good
and
cut.
off the screen. And
In fact, that got Spriggs right in the face mask, but he weathered it well.
I was going to say, I believe our home plate umpire, Tim Sherman, was going to do the gentlemanly thing and walk the ball out to the pitcher, and they threw it to him anyway. So now the plate needs cleaned off. You know,
they try to buy time for each other, and nobody else is cooperating.
They're each trying to look out for one another. Nobody else wants to help them out. Payoff pitch. That one up and out of the zone, and the Redskins have walked in a run.
Joel's like, I'll take that RBI.
Been a productive day at the plate for Joel Miller.
It has. How about Moore? Joe Moore.
Oh, yeah. Joel Miller is the main character of a TV show that I watch, and I've screwed that up. My apologies to Joel Moore.
Okay.
Joel Moore.
You almost had me convinced in the first
No,
inning.
that's my fault. My fault, but he does get the walk.
I knew you'd want to catch that time.
I absolutely do. So Darren Hauser back at the plate.
So what TV show is that?
The Last of Us.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a... Oh, look out. Almost got him on the hands. It's a 2-0 count.
Can't say I've partaken in that show.
It's on HBO. It's one of those zombie apocalypse shows.
Oh, I can't say I will take a part of that show.
9-4 ball game here in the top of the 5th. Base is still loaded. It's the count now 3-0.
Mr. Hauser on base every time today.
Helping his own cause.
I've been really impressed with him, just
absolutely.
hanging with it and eating up innings.
That pitch in for a strike.
Yep.
Hauser wasn't going to be swinging the bat under any circumstance there. So now the battle begins again. Still runners at every base. Sure.
How about Blake Rogers getting to come up with the bags juiced again?
Missed on that one. Hauser draws another walk. Everybody moves up a base. Make it a 10-4 game. And
this one's getting out of hand, isn't it?
Cavaliers want to talk about it now. So that might be the end of the day for Schroer. Maybe not.
You know, we were talking earlier how both of these teams starting a brutal week of play. With Wapak plays 5 games in 5 days this week. Coldwater with 4 in those 5 games, 2 of them being league games, and with the pitching rules as they are with pitches are a premium when you head into a stretch like this.
You know, it always feels the way it works out. You know that you get some rough weather throughout the week, but on Wednesday night about 5 o'clock, it couldn't be the nicest day, the nicest day of the week. And you don't got a game scheduled, but when you do, the weather's terrible. So you get to the 2nd and 3rd weeks of May, and you're trying to, you know, like Wapak's played 15 games. You got 10 to go if you want, you know.
Which is a really low number of games at this point of the season for a team whose home field is turf.
Right. You're absolutely correct.
And, you know, as a high school coach for, you know, every year you try to set your schedule up to where you kind of have some balance to it. But, boy, if that first 2 weeks don't go well, you're backlogged.
That first pitch to Rogers in for a strike.
You know, Wapak getting into one of those stretches now where they're making up games and
making up conference game, you know,
making up conference games,
picking up games just to pick them up. They still got to play the bad
trying
Wildcats.
to play your schedule.
And pitch from Shore in for a strike as well. Early 0-2 count here to Blake Rogers. Struck out twice, reached once on a walk. 10-4 ball game.
Blake not showing the bunt sign this at bat.
That pitch, great job by
Nice
Spriggs.
job by Spriggs. He just saved a run there, didn't he?
There's been crooked numbers on the board in each of the last 4 innings for the Wapak Redskins.
We haven't seen a scoreless frame since the 2nd for either team.
Oh, you're absolutely correct.
We finally have eclipsed more hits than errors.
And more runs than Diamond Dry, maybe at this point.
I think 14. We have a chance. Diamond Dry might lose today.
Going to try to catch the runner back at second base as Moore dives back in.
You know, historically, Coldwater baseball has a great reputation for doing the little things like that, the back picks and kids knowing where they're supposed to be defensively on cutoffs.
That pitch misses the zone. Evens the count at 2 apiece.
I'm still waiting on Blake Rogers to put a ball in play tonight with his
strikeouts,
3 at-bats and a walk.
Strikeout, 2 strikeouts and a walk. 2-2. And we'll wait a little bit longer. He strikes out for the 3rd time. The Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating K for Schroer cuts off the rally. Only 2 runs score for Wapak. It's 10-4 Redskins. We'll go to the home half of the 5th when we return here on WOSN. Strikeouts tonight brought to you by Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating, specializing in old-time service since 1978. Find them on Facebook or call 419-738-8956. Mason Welch, the big bopper in the Coldwater lineup, will start the bottom of the 5th inning off for the Cavaliers. Looking for some base runners. You take a look at the discrepancy, really, in base runners and hits tonight for the Cavaliers. Coldwater just 2 hits on the evening. Redskins have scored 10 runs and left 9 on the base pass as the first pitch.
And if you're
in for a strike,
Darren Hauser, this is exactly when you want to see Mason Welsh. If you have to see him with nobody on to start an inning.
No damage. It's the 3rd time through the order. Welsh reached both times, once on a base hit, once on an error. Here's Hauser wastes one.
Hauser's attacking. He's got a good tempo going this inning.
That one rolled down the 3rd baseline. A tough play for Bailey. Strong throw can't be picked at first base. And Welsh is on board for the 3rd time this evening.
Got to be an E3 there. That ball was right in his glove. Just popped right out of Moore's glove.
2nd time he's reached on an error. And Balaam Blockberger, who's also reached once on an error.
We're just commenting on how we've had a few frames with no errors. And
just to clean things up just a little bit.
Yeah. Fortunately, back to our norm.
Hauser will check Welsh over at first base.
I thought Hauser pitched Welsh very well that at bat. Got a ground ball that could have, should have been an out.
Yeah, for a guy who's hitting 464, he has not made real solid not driven the ball.
He got ahead of him early, and the 2-strike pitch just barely missed.
Again, Hauser making just his third start of the season against a 19-1 club who's won 19 in a row with a 10-4 advantage. That pitch in for a strike.
If you're Coach Brandt and you're watching this sophomore pitch tonight, you've got high hopes for the next 2 years.
You got to feel real
He's
good.
only going to get better. Maybe a little more mastery of the curveball, but for the experience that he's had thus far, it's doing a nice job.
Well hit for Blockberger as Welsh will go first to third on a base knock. And that's the third hit of the ball game for the Cavaliers.
Rogers doing a good job getting over there and cutting that ball off.
Bottom of the fifth inning, so starting to get down kind of the nitty-gritty here. Cavaliers trail by 6.
Well, if you're Coldwater, you definitely feel like you got to push a couple across this frame just to stay in it, because Coldwater's not been able to shut Wapak down since the first inning.
Now batting left field, number 12, Mason Smith.
Mason Smith, the left-hander, steps into the batter's box. Smith playing left field today. Runners on the corners with nobody down. And we will get time called as the Redskins will bark out what they want to do defensively here. Should Smith want to lay down a bunt.
First and third defense. Always got to know what you're going to do on a quick or delayed steal.
That pitch inside. Smith 0 for 2 on the day. Struck out looking his first at-bat.
Had that harmless little pop to third base to end the third inning that Bailey caught.
That one.
That'll get a run in.
Well struck into right field. Coming in, Mullen will make the catch from his center field spot. Tagging up is Welsh. And it'll be a 10-5 ball game on the sac fly on the Lay's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard.
Productive at bat for Mason Smith. An unearned run, but a run nonetheless. If you're Coldwater, you could care less if they're earned or unearned right now.
Don't care how they get on the Lay's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Just that they get on there.
Wish my favorite Cincinnati Reds could get some unearned runs. They either score 12 or 13 or 0.
First offering to Cody Depwag. Next out of the zone.
That's a big out for Hauser, though, in the middle of the lineup. Now you got a chance with this guy on first to get out of the inning, but it gives up a base hit.
As that's the first base knock of the day for Depwag, and runners now at first and second with 1 down.
Garrett, how big a deal is it that obviously this is the deepest that Hauser's pitched into a game, and now guys are seeing him for the third time?
And we mentioned, pitching's at a premium right now. And I would venture to guess maybe if you injected Jason Brandt with some truth serum, if you were to tell him that you got this kid, sophomore pitcher who's made 2 starts throughout the season, through 4 innings with only 4 runs given up and now 1 here in the 5th, that he would probably take that.
And a 5-run lead.
Coming into the night, I would bet you good money that he would say, I'll take a sophomore pitcher against one of the strongest offenses in the area, maybe the strongest offense in the area. And he's done a fantastic job on the bump tonight. It's the first offering.
You're going to get a pop fly here on the infield.
You get the infield fly roll. And catch.
What a big out.
Made anyway by Joel Moore.
Not only do you get an out, but you get it without giving up an additional base to the guys that are on.
Yeah, everybody stays parked.
Now we've got Bennett Spriggs, who's flown out twice tonight to the outfield.
Spriggs, a .244 hitter. Catching for the Cavaliers. Done a great job behind the plate tonight.
He's been solid. He's a really nice baseball player.
The first offering nearly wore it. Up and in.
You can't undervalue or how much it is beneficial to a program to have a sophomore playing on a team like this with that kind of innings played and at bats.
And that experience is only going to pay off in the next couple of seasons. Nearly came up the exact same spot as the last pitch.
If we hang with it, Garrett, we might see this matchup for the next 2 years. Hauser and Spriggs, both sophomores. If we hang with it and they have us back, who knows?
We don't do anything to ruin it.
Yeah.
That pitch in for a strike from Hauser. Still throwing the ball really well here in the fifth inning.
I don't have a radar gun on him, but it doesn't appear that he's lost much velo.
That one missed just outside. Runs it count to 3-1. There's 2 down. Here in the bottom of the fifth inning, Cavaliers have played at 1. Trimming the lead to 10-5 on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Spriggs awaits the 3-1. Missed up and out, and Spriggs has drawn a walk. That's the 11th base on balls he's taken this season. And now, the bases are full of Cavaliers as Miles Potcutter, the number 9 hitter, comes to the plate.
It's the 3rd walk issued by Darren Hauser tonight.
Potcutter took one of those walks. His last time up in the 4th.
You got to think that the Redskins are in a situation where they feel like they got to get Potcutter here to start the next inning with Layfield with no 1-1.
Pitch from Hauser out of his zone.
Look at the scoreboard, Garrett, and every time Wapak gives up a run, they've matched it or had one more that top of the frame.
Absolutely. Cavaliers did most of their damage back in the 3rd inning, got 3 runs plated. It's the top of the order.
I think we got to keep an eye on Hauser here a little bit. Last 6 pitches, 5 of them have been balls.
There's one back for a strike. Puts the count at 2-1. Potcutter, a .330 hitter. Awaits the 2-1 as Hauser comes plateward. Fouled off. We get a catcher's interference. Yep,
we sure did. You saw the bat drag through the zone.
You sounded like somebody hit a wood block. And so the runner scores. And that makes it a 10-6 ball game now. It's the second time tonight, I beg your pardon. The Cavaliers have had a crooked number on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard in an inning.
Here's a trivia question for you. Is that an RBI or not?
No. I was good.
Not with the old CI. That ball went down into the bullpen where the protector actually caught it as the Redskins. I can't see who's working down there. But I'll see if I can catch his number. Jacob's the only one that can see him from the first base dugout. But he's not looking.
Right, and he don't know we're talking to him. So the Redskins will regroup here. 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Coldwater's plated 2 to shrink the lead to 4 on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, located in Wapak, Delphos, and St. Mary's. Locally owned and operated. Lee's isn't famous for chicken, famous for catering too. So, Hauser going to try to get out of the jam here. Not completely unscathed, but still would love to live to fight for another day.
Minimize the damage here and walk off with a 4-run lead.
Brady Layfield at the plate. Top of the order for the Cavaliers now. That first pitch in for a strike.
Brady up for the 4th time today.
That pitch missed. Layfield 0 for 1 on the day, has walked twice.
He's a walk machine.
Flew out to center field in his first at-bat. The 1-1. That one back out to center field. Mullen will camp out under it, make the grab, and the inning will end. Cavaliers able to put 2 on the scoreboard. It's a 4-run lead for Wapak after 5 here on WOSN. High school baseball tonight brought to you by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit criver.com for more information. Caleb Schroer back up on the mound for another inning of work for the Cavaliers. As Coldwater trails 10-6 against the Wapak Redskins, and Redskins will send Zach Fisher, the left fielder, to the plate to lead off the inning. Fisher 1 for 3 on the day. A 342 hitter coming out of the 8-hole.
Is going to maintain that at this point with a 1 for 3.
Number 3, Zach Fisher.
Schroer will go to work. That first pitch in for a strike between the belt and letters.
Redskin lineup has got to see Mr. Shore a lot tonight, especially for a man that comes in relief.
That pitch fouled back to the screen. Wapak's 10 runs have been scored by batters 1 through 6, I beg your pardon. 7, 8, and 9 have not come around to score tonight. As that pitch fouled off once more.
Caleb Schroer just chucking strikes in there. It's a beautiful evening now. Just now that the showers have kind of moved through.
That pitch, Bender bent to the far batter's box.
Bent down, didn't it? Looks like we have a little better footing behind home plate. It was a little glassy under Tim Sherman's feet the second inning.
There's a swing and a miss. Schroer records the Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating strikeout. First time Fisher's gone down on K's. It's the third strikeout tallied by Caleb Schroer.
It's only the second time tonight that Coldwater has retired the first Wapak batter of an inning.
Now batting center fielder number 1.
That's not a recipe for success.
No, it's not. And a bunt laid down by Mullen. He'll try to beat it down the line, and it's going to do so. It's uncorked down the line. Mullen will turn it towards second, and now will retreat.
How many times
Back to
tonight
the
have
first
we
base bag.
seen bunts to that area of the field? That's got to be at least 5.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It appears that Wapak has a bit of a game plan of just to put the ball in play and make the defense make a play, and it's benefiting them.
I would label that a hit. You label that a hit?
Yeah,
I think he was going to be safe, even if it was
I think that would have been a tough get.
finest
wouldn't it?
throw.
Number 2, Grant Jolly.
It's Jolly at the plate now. 5th time at the dish for Grant Jolly tonight. Reached 3 different times. Is yet to record a hit, however. Hit by a pitch. 2 errors, I beg your pardon. And now going to reach again on an error. And runners on first and second.
Grant's on base percentage isn't bad, but he's not getting the batting average to show for it.
So, Drew Bailey, who is maybe statistically having the best day at the plate for anybody for either squaddies. 2 for 4, but an extra base hit and a single. Had 2 runs.
But you look at Wapak statistics, and Drew Bailey's right in the middle of everything. As you mentioned earlier, 341 coming in, 18 RBIs, 15 runs. Their only home runs.
That pitch in for a strike.
Kid's having a really nice season.
Number 2 hitter.
Junior third baseman. Daylight play.
Got him. Oh, did not get him. Mullen is back in time.
Saw Blockberger sneak in. As soon as he cleared the runner, he flashed the glove, and Caleb Schroer did a really nice job with the timing of that play.
So still nobody down here in the top of the 6th.
As we talked earlier, a lot of high school programs that back picks and whatnot are not second nature, but this is taught at such a young age here in a program, and these kids do a good job of understanding the timing of the game.
That one to second base, a slow roller. A pitcher, Caleb Schroer, covering.
Nice job by Caleb getting over there.
So 1 batter retired as Bailey goes down on the 3-1 putout.
Runners move up. Set the table for Griffin Miracle.
Struck out once. Has an RBI single to his credit. Catcher tonight for the Redskins.
One of the many juniors.
That pitch uncorked.
Here we come.
Play at the plate. Mullen slides in safely. Ball gets away. And now another run will come in to score. And it is another tally for the Redskins. So we should have mentioned Braxton Taylor now pitching for Coldwater. Thought it was Schroer, but the 7 is a 2.
2?
Yes.
Okay.
So that explains why it was a new pitcher. We saw Taylor go into the dugout and grab something. It might have been a different glove than he had before, but Braxton Taylor now pitching for Coldwater. And it is now a 12-6 ball game after those 2 runs come around to score on a wild pitch. And that one uncorked off the backstop.
Apologies to Braxton Taylor and all the Coldwater faithful.
Not the cleanest jerseys that everybody's wearing tonight. Taylor's been leaping and diving on the base paths as he was the designated hitter coming into tonight. That one spiked as Spriggs keeps that one off the backstop. As Miracle awaits his first strike. 2 down here in the top of the 6th, I beg your pardon.
Uncharacteristic score from second base on a wild pitch behind home plate.
As a 4-pitch walk here to Miracle. His second base on balls of the evening. Yeah, Mullen came from first, and Jolly has some wheels on him himself, and able to score from second as the pitch swung on by Ludwig. Fouled back. Pitch from Taylor, skied. Will it stay in play?
Looks like it's going to get out of play.
Just over the fence on the basketball court.
It's about as close as you can get, Garrett.
It did not hit foul by, or I guess not foul, but over the fence by much. So Ludwig will go back to the plate.
Ludwig seeking his 3rd hit of the night. Previous 2 at-bats, singled, scored twice.
Yeah, been on base 3 consecutive times. Got hit by a pitch. Drives that one to third. Throw across the diamond. Nice pick at first base by Mason Welsh for the out. And that will retire the Redskins. But they put 2 more on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard, making a 12-6 lead for Wapak as we'll go to the home half of the 6th here on WOSN. The 6th inning tonight brought to you by Burke Petroleum, now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, and industrial users. Burke Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097. Wapak with a 12-6 lead. I'm Garrett Seawright, joined alongside Chad Spencer here at Veterans Field in Coldwater as the Cavaliers trail by a score of 12-6 on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. In the bottom of the 6th, Coldwater will bring Carson Holman to the plate to lead off the home half of the penultimate inning, perhaps.
With a new hurler for the Redskins, Garrett.
Yeah, Mason Ludwig on the bump after 5 strong innings put in by Darren Hauser. As Ludwig, first pitch up and out of the zone.
Ludwig, another pitcher for Wapak that hasn't thrown a lot. 8 innings this year, but obviously in a position where if he can finish this out, could qualify for a save.
That pitch in for a strike. And in a week where you're going to need pretty much everybody, and you got a 6-run lead against a very good opponent, doesn't hurt to get Mason Ludwig some experience on a bump.
Every inning is important this week.
That one bounced. Don't have quite the need for as many new baseballs as we did maybe an hour ago or so.
They're lasting longer.
You're right. It has turned into a very nice night here in Coldwater. And now the rain has subsided. That pitch in for a strike.
You know, if you're Coach Brandt, you just want Mr. Ludwig just throw strikes and let us make plays on the ball.
I believe the count is 2-2.
Yeah, I think the scoreboard's off by a pitch. Unless we're both wrong.
I mean, crazier things have happened. I trust you more than
I've got 2-2.
So 2-2 is the count we'll go with. Leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 6th. Holman fouls one down. the third base line. Holman grounded out back to the pitcher with the bunt attempt with 2 outs back in the 4th inning with runners in scoring position.
It's the old head scratcher of the night.
And
grounded into left field on that one.
There's a
nice
base hit
pick by Jolly.
That's a great, just to even get to that ball is a great play by Jolly, and a strong throw made it much closer than it probably should have been.
I was in error saying it went to left field, but it technically did.
It was in left field, just the shortstop was there with
Grant
him.
Jolly. You can see why this kid's one of the better players in Northwest Ohio.
That was a fantastic grab there to even get there. But now Mason Welsh back to the plate. There's a swing and a miss. Welsh reached every time thus far. 464 hitter, came into tonight with 25 RBIs in game number 21. Reached on a couple of errors, had a base knock back in the first. Runner at first, by the way. Carson Holman.
Carson Holman making an impact since his arrival in the game. First at bat in the 3rd inning.
Time called after Welsh asked for it. 1-1 count.
Oh, we know it wasn't the sun in his eyes.
That is for certain.
Or rain.
Second batter Ludwig is facing. That one up.
If you're Coach Brandt and the Redskins, you just want to keep them right where they were. Try to hold them to 2 runs or less and maintain your lead.
That one fouled right back to the screen from Welsh.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's not been one inning today that Coldwater has won, so to speak.
Yeah.
When they did answer Wapak's 3 runs in the 3rd, Wapak comes back and got 3 again in the 4th.
Holman slides in safely on the stolen base.
That's some confident base stealing when you're down 6 in the 6th.
And perhaps your best hitter, perhaps
Correct.
the best hitter in the conference at the plate. Mentioned earlier, it's presumed that Mason Welsh will be the Midwest Athletic Conference Player of the Year. Fouls that one back to the screen again.
But again, you've got a good base runner in Carson Holman that's already stole over 10 bases this year. And
get him in scoring position.
Yeah, exactly.
Find some grass, outfield grass. You might
3-man at the plate.
Might get a run manufactured here. Welsh awaits the pitch. That one missed low. And Mason Welsh is aboard for the 4th consecutive time tonight.
How about that on-base percentage? Brings up the 3rd baseman, Balon Blockberger.
Blockberger will go to Defiance College to play basketball.
We learned a little bit during senior night before the game. What was it?
We
8
did.
Coldwater seniors?
Yes, sir. Aaron Kalp, who played second base earlier, only got to see the one pitch and the one at-bat that he took, but he class president, National Honor Society president. That pitch in for a strike.
Kalp had a quick night at the plate.
Yep, just got that one pitch. It stung it down the 3rd base line. Curveball misses. First real bender we've seen from Ludwig thus far.
Had just a little bit of movement to it.
Blockberger sitting fastball, it appears. Got one and took a hearty cut at it. Evens the count at 2 apiece. And
Nice
now
location.
Miracle wants to talk to Ludwig.
We think Miracle's like, don't throw that right there again.
Don't ever do that again.
Not this at bat. Not 2 pitches in a row.
We got 2-2 now. Nobody down. Runners on first and second. Blockberger, 340 hitter, 20 RBIs, drawn 14 walks.
Umpire Sherman hops out from behind home plate with time. Puts the ball back in play.
2-2. Checking a runner at second. Blockberger right back to the screen.
You know what they say, if you're fouling it straight back behind you, you're on it.
Cavaliers looking to do some damage here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 on, nobody out. Blockberger got it just over Grant Jolly. And they'll put the stop sign at third base. Now they'll send him. Got past Mullen in center field. 1 run will come in to score. And Carson Holman trots home. And it's now a 5-run game again. Nice piece of hitting by Blockberger.
It sure was. Fouled that 2-strike pitch off to stay alive and then drove a fastball right back up the middle over Grant's head.
Jolly climbed the ladder trying to get it.
It's like he read it well. He just ran out of atmosphere or elevation.
Still nobody down. Smith squares to bunt. Pulled it back. Doesn't matter. It's a strike anyway.
Smith with an RBI the last at bat with a fly ball to center.
Both Blockberger and Welsh can take off. Got a combined 23 stolen bases between them. There's a swing and a miss by Mason Smith. Got fooled on a pitch by Ludwig.
The ball was tight, wasn't it?
So now 2 strikes quickly.
Garrett, do you realize this is 9 frames in a row we've had to have no zeros on the scoreboard?
It has been an eventful one here at
Spread
Veterans
it out.
Field. Smith a little late on it, but made some contact. Mentioned had the RBI sac fly back in the 5th inning. Did strike out looking his first time up on the first strikeout. Tallied by Hauser. The 0-2 from Ludwig. Fouled off once more. Smith hanging tough in there.
2 really good at bats here by Blockberger and Smith. Keep those dry baseballs in play.
Runners at first and second. Home half of the 6th. 12-7 on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Chopped down to first base side. Making the play is Joel Moore. And he'll step on the bag for the first out of the evening.
You know, sarcastically earlier this game, I talked about we don't have to worry about the grass drying off, but at the rate this game's going, it might dry off and grow.
Might need to give it a cut by the time the sun goes down, which thankfully is like 9 o'clock now.
Yeah.
Those 9 o'clock sunsets, they do wonders for the soul.
It does help, doesn't it?
Cody Defwag at the plate now. Still just 1 down. At first pitch, up and out of the zone.
Quite a few pitches thrown here this inning.
Defwag, the right fielder.
To only be 1 out in.
Defwag down the left
Foul
field
ball.
line. Got a foul, giving chase to Zach Fisher. Chase that baseball that bounced off the fence. Throw it back in. Made a nice throw to Coldwater third base coach, head coach Corey Klenke.
He's fielded a few.
1-1. 2 runners in scoring position for Defwag. That one in for a strike.
Not sure that the third base dugout was in total agreement with that strike call by Mr. Sherman.
It's crazy how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a democracy. Everybody has a voice.
Ludwig, the 1-2. That
Nice
one.
block.
Everyone agrees. Play ball.
You know, we talked earlier about the nice job that Bennett Spriggs has done beside the plate. Let's not overlook what Griffin Miracle's done
absolutely.
either. For one, both catchers have been out there for a lot of pitches tonight and under tough circumstances. Both kids have done a nice job blocking balls.
The 2-2 to Defwag. That one missed. Gets past him, and a run will score.
Never fails, does it?
The old announcer's jinx.
Never fails. kind of a tweener that he tried to backhand and wasn't able to, and get a wild pitch.
So, 2 runs have now been put on the board by Coldwater. It's a 4-run game. Still just 1 down. Runner at third base for Cody Depwig. One home
all
run.
those years as a coach, I hated hearing that from announcers, and now I'm sitting up here and did the jinx.
That one out of play.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were talking about his home run?
Yeah, had a home run, 21 RBIs this season. Which you just go through how many runs Coldwater's average 9 runs a game.
Yeah.
You got so many guys that have either at or above 20 RBIs in a season when they've only played 20 games.
That's going to fall.
That's a tough one. A diving play by Rogers. Can't make the grab. Trotting in to score is Blockberger. A double for Depwig. The first extra base hit of the night for the Cavaliers. Shrinks the lead down to 3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So still just 1 down.
We have our first inning of the game that the Cavs have outscored the Redskins. And after all this, they're within 3 with a man in scoring position.
Ludwig now will face off his counterpart, Braxton Taylor. First pitch, swing and a miss by Taylor. Taylor 0 for 3 on the day. Did reach back in the 4th inning on an error.
He worked in a stolen base that appearance on the paths.
Ludwig will come plateward. Great snag by Miracle to keep it off the backstop.
Miracle had to look at his glove to make sure that was still there.
Now get some more baseballs to our home plate umpire, Tim Sherman. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 6th. Already 3 runs scored by the Cavaliers. Trailing by 3 now. That pitch missed up and out of the zone as well. And Braxton Taylor ahead in the count 2-1. Depwig after his double, checking the bag, back at second. That pitch in for a strike on the outer half of the plate.
Starting to feel like a game of attrition, isn't it? Just back and forth. Who's going to last the longest? We have a Redskin running to the bullpen. It's a left-hander whose number I obviously can't see, but
Taylor,
we'll keep looking.
Slow chopper.
Good
The
job
runner will
looking
take
the
off
runner
for
back.
third. He'll take it anyway. Depwig takes third as Drew Bailey did everything that he was supposed to do.
He did. Just good running by Cole Depwig.
That'll bring Bennett Spriggs to the plate.
Catcher number 20, Bennett
Walked his
Spriggs.
last time up. Got a couple of fly outs to his credit tonight. 2 down.
I thought Mr. Sherman was going to call that a strike the way he come up out of the crouch. Not a chance.
First 2 pitches from Ludwig to Spriggs. Not in the zone.
This would be big for Wapak if they could get out of here and still have a 3-run lead heading into the last frame.
That one nicks the outside corner. Runner on third base for the orange and black. That pitch, same spot. Runs a count to 2-2. Ludwig looking to get out of the inning. Spriggs puts a charge into 1. And a running catch made by Zach Fisher to end the inning.
Nice catch.
And we'll go to the 7th. 12-9, Wapak the lead on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard here on WOSN. Top of the 7th inning about to get underway. Braxton Taylor back on the bump for the Coldwater Cavaliers. looking to put a 0 on the scoreboard for the first time since back in the first inning, and see if they can't come up to the plate in the bottom of the inning. With
zeros have been hard to find.
It has been tough sledding on the mound for the Cavaliers tonight. The Redskins have plated 12 runs and have left several more on the base paths. As that pitch to Joel Moore missed off the plate. Evens the count at 1 apiece. But in almost the same spot. 2-1 the count now.
Joel picked up again Wapak's first hit of the day, followed by a couple sacrifices.
And that'll be the third hit of the day for Joel Moore, and that one gets past the center fielder and will get him extra bases. If he comes sliding in, he might be out. He's thrown out at second base. What a fantastic fire from the outfield there from Mason Smith. Comes in, uncorks one to second base, and Joel Moore is cut down at second base.
From the onset, it looked like that'd be a two-bagger, but what a really nice play and throw by the left fielder who was backing up that play.
Al Hauser puts one out of play.
How big is that defensively for the Cavs to give up a hit, but yet have nobody on base?
Nobody
to start
on base,
the inning?
one right leadoff hitter down.
Just a good hustle play. You know, your center fielder dives to try to make a play, and left fielder's there to back it up and shows instant benefits.
Now quickly, Hauser down 0-2 in the count. Got him. 3-pitch strikeout for Braxton Taylor, his first Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating strikeout of the night. Cook and Son Plumbing and Heating, specializing in old-time service since 1978. Find them on Facebook or call 419-738-8956.
We haven't seen too many 3-pitch outs tonight, have we?
No, sir. That pitch in for a strike.
We have a pinch hitter here. No, my apologies. Blake Rogers at the plate.
No, that's Caleb Miller.
Oh, okay.
Caleb Miller taking his first cuts of the day. By the way, just 6 strikeouts today for Wapak.
Mm-hmm.
As Taylor missed wide there on the first ball to Caleb Miller.
Miller hitting in the spot previously occupied by Blake Rogers.
And skies that one behind the second base bag. Blockberger's there to make the catch, and the Cavaliers will come to the plate, trailing by 3. They get the 1-2-3 inning for the first time tonight, and see if they can't come back and try to even things
momentum,
up. 12-9 to score. Go to the bottom of the 7th, win and return here on WOSN. Tonight's 7th inning brought to you by Burke Petroleum, now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, and industrial users. Burke Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097. 9-1-2 up for Coldwater to begin the home half of the 7th. The final chance for Coldwater here this evening. Miles Potcutter at the dish is Ludwig back on the mound for Wapak. First pitch in for a strike from Mason Ludwig.
Miles reached base in that interesting fashion last time with the catcher's interference.
That curveball in the dirt. It's a 12-9 game on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. Wapak with the lead, trying to hand Coldwater their first loss since the first game of the season. As that one from Potcutter, driven into center field. Mullen will make the grab for the first out.
You know, Garrett, when you prepare for these broadcasts, you look at how many runs per game each team scores, how many runs per game each team gives up, and this is kind of blowing up the runs per game give up tonight on both squads, isn't it?
You're absolutely correct. 12-9 the score. As Langfeld, top of the order, tries to lay down a bunt, see if he couldn't get a board on a sneak attack, and got it off the bottom side of the bat.
If you weren't paying attention, you'd think, did Wapak play Coldwater in football? Field goal fast.
Layfeld steps back in the box. Walked twice, flown out to center field twice. That one in for a strike.
Kudos to Ludwig coming out and getting ahead this inning.
That's a fantastic pitch there on the 0-1. Broke a curveball in for a strike. Setting up on the outside, it's Miracle.
Yeah, how huge would this be if Wapak's able to come in and get out of here with a W using two pitchers that they've not relied on a lot through the season.
And that one back to short.
That's the guy you want to hit it to.
Layfeld beats it out. Oh, no, he's called out.
No, I think he beat it out, but he called out. You're right.
So the 6-3 put out. Nice throw by Jolly.
You know, Jolly didn't do anything wrong on that, but Layfield showing good speed down the line.
Got down the line quickly.
I would be interested in some instant replay on that one.
So 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. As Ludwig comes towards Carson Oman. That pitch above the letters. A 1-0. Pushed down a play.
This game's had a different feel for a game, you know, late in the season with two state-ranked teams.
Yeah.
It just hasn't had that edge to it that you might expect from a matchup of these two great programs.
Dealt with the rain for quite a while. Mm-hmm. You see the 10 errors combined on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. It's
and approximately 19 base runners left on one.
It's not the game I think many would have expected here tonight. That pitch from Ludwig misses inside, runs the count to 3-1. Cavaliers, I'm sure, would love to get Mason Welsh back to the plate one more time. Somehow, Holman can find his way aboard.
Appears that he is.
Puts it in the perfect spot. Another base hit for Carson Holman. He's got 3 base knocks here today. And that brings up Welsh, who's reached every time he's come to the plate. And it is at bat number 5. 12-9 ball game. Wapak with the lead. Ludwig on the mound against Welsh.
Carson Homan comes in at 383, and his average will go up.
That's a nice night at the ballpark. Mm-hmm.
Welsh in the middle of everything tonight with 3 runs scored.
That one from Welsh. Fouled out of play. Quickly falls behind on the count 0-1. Ludwig looking to get out of the jam. Pick up a save.
Not your traditional save, by the way.
No, not by any stretch.
Come in with a 6-run lead, which would qualify you if you get 6 outs, but it's not been easy.
Curveball in there for a strike. It's now an 0-2 count. Welsh pops one up.
Got Mr. Rogers out in right field.
It's in his neighborhood. He makes the grab, and that will do it. The Wapak Redskins have ended Coldwater's 19-game winning streak. Cavaliers lost game number 1 of the season, rattled off 19 in a row, and Coldwater falls tonight 12-9 at the hands of the Wapak Redskins, where not the cleanest game ever played by either side. Lots of runners left, uncharacteristic from both squads tonight, right, Chad?
Yes, it was, and you know, it's kind of one of those things where it looks like both teams are just trying to exist through the night, and Wapak, the beneficiary of probably more mistakes overall, and capitalize on it and walk out with a W.
So the first inning since the first inning that we go zeros on the scoreboard.
Interesting.
On the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard comes after crooked number after crooked number. But as Chad mentioned, Wapak able to outlast Coldwater tonight here by a score of 12-9 on the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken scoreboard. High school baseball tonight on WSN brought to you by Charles River in Spencerville. Proud to support area athletes and students. Visit criver.com for more information. That'll do it from us here at Coldwater. Cavaliers fall to 19-2. Meanwhile, Wapak moves to 13-3 with a 12-9 win over the Coldwater Cavaliers. Chad Spencer and our entire WOSN crew, I'm Garrett Seawright saying so long. We'll catch you next time here on WOSN.